Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming President and co-founder of Houzz, Alon Cohen, for an interview with partner at Sequoia Capital, Alfred Lin.
Hi, I'm Alfred Lin. I'm a partner at Sequoia Capital, and we're very proud to have been in business with Houzz since 2011. And here we have Alon Cohen, who's president and founder of Houzz. So by a show of hands, how many people have heard of Houzz in the audience? Okay, many of you. How many of you have downloaded the app? All right, so your job is to get the people who have heard of Houzz and haven't downloaded the app
by the end of this
to download the app.
Yeah.
So actually, before we start the interview, so you're president and co-founder. So why president?
Well, I'm working together with the CEO and my wife, Adi. And thankfully, we found an investor that is not afraid to invest in married couples.
Well, we both work for her.
Yeah.
All right, so why don't you talk a little bit about, for those who don't know Houzz, who didn't raise their hands about Houzz, like, why don't you start from the very beginning and sort of tell us how you got started?
So Houzz started with a remodel, basically, when my wife and I were remodeling our home. And we needed ideas, and we needed to find professionals that will help us renovate the house. And everything was going really difficult, which is how we came up with Houzz. So that was a good thing at the end of it. And really, when we got started, we bought an old ranch homes from 1955, kitchen that has been touched, bathroom that is pink and I can hardly stand in. And we very quickly wanted to look for ideas for how to make it more modern, and architects and contractors that will help us make it modern. And so we were looking for it mostly in books and magazines, and then websites of architects that were really slow moving. And then we realized that there's got to be a better way to do this. And that's really when I started developing Houzz, coding it as a fun side project, and I started working with the community, really with architects in the Bay Area and really parents from the kids' school. And that's how Houzz started. That was the initial community.
And that was in 2000
That was 2009, right? And we sort of bootstrapped it for a year. Not that it was meant to be a business, but it was just our fun little project. But very quickly, it came to be that we realized it's going to get much bigger than we originally imagined.
So fast forward to today, can you give us some stats about the company to sort of let us know the size and shape and breadth of the company? How many users, how many countries are you in?
Yep.
How many SKUs do you have on the marketplace?
Yep. So the little group of parents from the kids' school became 40 million people that come to the site and the app every month. And then we have over 1.5 million active home professionals, architects, contractors, designers, etc., that are using the app to communicate with homeowners. We started monetizing a few years later, first with subscriptions for the professionals, and later on with a marketplace where you can buy anything for your home. There's over 10 million products, anything from bathroom vanities to sofas to small decor items, from over 20,000 vendors on Houzz.
Great.
And we're in 14 countries now outside of the US.
So you mentioned that you bootstrapped from the beginning, and then there was a rumor that you don't like venture capitalists or investors in general. But somehow you and I and Adi ended up sitting in a beanbag chair in your first office. How did that happen?
Well, at first we didn't like investors, and then we did because we met the right people. And that was really, well, it really was, right? When we met, you and Mike, and then Oren, right? It was a revelation for us that investors can actually be partners, real partners, where they care about us, They care about where and what we want to do. And it really turned out to be a great thing for us. I still remember, you and Mike Moritz sitting next to me on the computer at the, tiny office that we had, and just going over the product, and later on talking, and really seeing how you guys are really trying to just make it work for us, so that we can make this a reality.
When Houzz started, it was all the focus was on content and then on community, and you did that for a long period of time before monetizing. How long did you go without monetizing, and then when did you feel like it was the right time to do that?
It was the right time to do it when the community asked for it. And that was the case both for our pro marketing package and for our marketplace. We went on for a couple of years without monetization, and then we just had a lot of professionals that wanted to have specific exposure in their local area. And at the same time, this was not something that was foreign to the homeowners. They also wanted to find pros in their area. And so it made perfect sense to provide a marketing package that helps those pros get exposure in their area. And then fast forward a few years later, we had people calling the office and saying, hello, is this Houzz? Yes. I want to buy the bathtub that I see in this picture, but I don't see the add to cart button. You guys have a bug. No, we don't have a bug. We're just not selling it. Well, you guys should. And so we did. So we built out the marketplace. We started with 3,000 vendors, and today we have 20,000 vendors on the platform that are selling, over 10 million products, anything that you can basically buy for your home.
And what do you monitor to make sure that the monetization doesn't get in the way of content and community and the rich sort of viral loop that you've created for content and community and people really enjoying the experience?
Yeah, that's a great question. Really, we just keep listening to the community, both the homeowners and the professionals. You have to sort of get both sides because they both have their perspectives. And then, it's not like we get it perfect every time. So many times we make mistakes and then we go and make changes as necessary, but always have the best interest in mind of both sides of the marketplace.
And you didn't really expand internationally right away, but the community pulled you that way.
Yes.
Do you want to share how many users are North America versus the rest of the world?
Sure, so today over half of the people that are joining Houzz are coming from outside of North America. That has really been the reason when we saw more and more people coming from initially English-speaking countries, right, like the UK and Australia, and later on from other countries as well, and meeting people that tell us, oh, we love Houzz, I wish you had a version of it in French. And when we saw that demand, we decided to go ahead and open it initially in Europe and today in 14 different countries, including in Asia, where we have an office in Japan. We opened presence recently in India as well. And so really great reception. What I love most about international, about the fact that we opened in those countries, what I love most is that it really creates Houzz into this international design place, right? Where you can see designs from Japan and Italy in the US or vice versa. And we can actually today buy products from France and Italy and buy them here in the US. So that's really a great thing because design at the end of the day is universal.
Let's move on a little bit to technology. You recently made an acquisition. You haven't made many acquisitions, even though you could have a while ago. The acquisition is called Ivy. Tell us a little bit about Ivy. Why did you decide to sort of make the acquisition? Why was it a fit for Houzz?
So Houzz has always been focused on adding technology to the home improvement industry. And that's the business Ivy's in too. So it just made total sense. They had the same purpose as us, which is to make this industry more, have more technology, have more capabilities to do things more efficiently. And then at the same time, they had a great product. They were able to get, from 0 to over 2,000 paying customers in just about a year. which shows that it's an evidence that they had a really great product and a great team that we really clicked well with. They had a team that was their development team in Tel Aviv that was just a few blocks away from our office there, and so it just made perfect sense.
And speaking of technology, I always sort of stress Sequoia, we're investors in technology. We like companies that leverage technology and really, really make sure that there's a lot of leverage in technology, because otherwise, if you can't really get scale and economies of scale without leveraging technology. Do you want to talk about some of the technologies that you're building today in-house to sort of get more leverage, for example? Good.
Sure, we'll be happy to. So maybe we start with augmented reality, because that's really very relevant today. We have been, from the get-go, we have seen AR as really the ultimate example of how Houzz is changing the shopping experience for home. We've had, from the beginning, a simple product that was 2D based to view products in your home, and that was very unique already. But then we added 3D capabilities, and we're really the first app today to offer over 1 million products that you can view in 3D in your room. All you have to do is you get the Houzz app, and today we're announcing that the Houzz Android app supports AR Core. In fact, if we can roll the video and show a quick demo of what that support looks like in the Houzz app, that would be great. So you guys can see it. And really what you do, right, is just open the app and then select the product that you're shopping, put it in your room. You can add multiple products. You can get close to the product and see it from different angles, and right from there, add it to your shopping cart and buy it.
So this is available, view in your room, 3D is now available on the app?
Yeah, all you have to do is you go on the shop section, you click on the product, and you click view in my room, and you have it for over 1 million products. Yeah.
And so technology for technology's sake is not a good investment. Can you elaborate on how this has changed buying behavior, or how does it improve sort of conversion from an idea to buying? Anything you can share around that? Absolutely.
So we had to date over 2 million people who have used View in My Room, who've used AR to view products in their home. And it actually contributes to an 11x lift in conversion to purchase.
So 11x?
11x, yes.
I've never heard stats like that before in conversion.
It's really great because it just creates a better experience for you. Whether you're going to end up buying this thing or not, you can see it in the real size in your room, right? And that's something different. You don't have to see the product now for real and try it in your home and then get disappointed. You can just see it right there, get a feeling for what it will look like. And in fact, we're continuing to invest in many technologies that are related to that. But we're doing things on other technologies as well. In fact, when it comes to deep learning, I'm really astonished with just the rate of progress that has happened there. In fact, Houzz was always about creating the best experience for home design. But the things that we're doing today, they just look like science fiction when we started Houzz. And really things that have to do with analyzing photos, with analyzing what people like, what they're thinking about, what kind of products they're more likely to consider, what kind of professionals are going to fit their taste, their preferences. It's really amazing to see what's possible there.
And as you're an engineer by training. You worked at eBay. You're an engineer there, and technology companies tend to be better at this than most. But how do you know that an investment in technology is going to pay off? It's not sci-fi. Some of the stuff that you've mentioned, AI, deep learning, they sound like they're on the bleeding edge, and a lot of companies in Silicon Valley may be using them, but how do you know it's going to pay off and work, et cetera? The 11x stat is amazing. Do you expect the same thing for deep learning and AI?
It really has to be part of your commitment. It's in our DNA to have technology, right? And it's in our DNA to provide a great experience. So when those two things meet, we know we want to invest in it. Of course, you have to sort of walk before you run. And in fact, there are a lot of areas where you can also, we are investing in things that are more around efficiency. So for example, we have over 10 million products in the marketplace. We want to run algorithms to help classify these products. And a lot of these things are done today with people. And so I was just in a meeting last week, right? And when we're looking at the specific manual process that we're doing today, and when you look at the process that people go through, it's pretty amazing to realize that the algorithm doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be better than a human. And the humans are not perfect either. Like we see the same person can classify information, even though they're experts. They might classify it differently when they do it, a week later. And so the algorithm just needs to be better than that, and we're already seeing that happen.
That's an interesting point. Most people think that algorithms have to be perfect before they launch them, but that point about it being better than a human is actually an interesting point. What is the error rate for a human for classifying these products?
So it depends on the process, and that's exactly what, and it's kind of complicated too because there's a lot of different parameters to it, but we are getting to a point where a bunch of these processes, the computer can really understand style preferences from both from a photo, whether it's a photo of a product or a photo of a room, and they can do it in a way that it will be just hard to even imagine a few years back. I remember when I did my computer science degree, the state of the art was analyzing what's the zip code at the back of the envelope, and even that was really hard to do. And today, it's just amazing what's possible.
So we have only a few minutes left, but as a last question, how do you think Houzz will evolve in the next decade? You're almost, not quite 10 years old, you're almost 10 years old. How would you like to see the next decade of Houzz evolve?
So we accomplished a lot in the last few years. We were able to really build this great community, build a great product that people use to get the ideas they need, to find the professionals, and to buy any products they need for their home. And so we're very happy with that, right? And overall happy with the experience that people get when they download the app. We constantly hear that the app is great. I just read this tweet yesterday when this person is saying that, oh, the Houzz app is the GOAT. And I had to go look it up. I didn't know what it is. I had to ask my son. And so look it up if you don't know. And so that's great. We're very happy. It's a good thing. That's what I wanted to make sure when I was looking it up. And then so that's all great. But when you think about how many more problems still exist in the remodeling process, in the decorating process, we're really far from being done, right? And the rate of innovation only continues to accelerate, right? So there's more and more things that are possible with that, and we're actually working right now on a bunch of different new innovations that have to do with whether it is in AR or in deep learning or in many other areas that provide a great experience that was not even possible before when you're going through this process that is so expensive and you care about it so much because you're trying to create a home for yourself. At the end of the day, we want to turn this process into fun, right? So that you don't have the experience that we had when we were remodeling.
So maybe as a final thing, since you mentioned this, the rate of innovation continues to compound and accelerate. You're as a startup, it's a lot easier to be nimble and stay ahead of that rate of innovation. And how do you do that as the company gets bigger and matures? Because the rate of innovation, you don't want to be one of these. You don't want to be a company that does really well and then gets lapped from behind from a startup.
Absolutely. So it's true. I think it's more than that. I would not enjoy it as much if that was the case. And so Adi and I, when we are thinking about how to build a culture in the company, etc., it's really important to us to empower people. I really want people to have the same experience that I had when I developed Houzz the first time, right? And that means that they should feel like everybody in the company should feel like they can create stuff from scratch and that they will have a chance of actually pushing it forward. Now, obviously, we cannot do everything. You have to focus, but we are trying to keep the structure very flat as possible for the size of the company that we are. We have over 1,800 people in the company, but we're trying to keep things as flat as possible so that engineers and designers and product people and everybody in the company can innovate, continue to innovate, and really think about this thing that everybody, every homeowner and every even person that is renting is going through. How do I decorate? How do I design my home? How do I do that in the best possible way?
Well, I think we're out of time, but thank you so much, Alon, for being open and candid with the audience. And Alon Cohen, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Alfred.